It begins with the Hippocratic Oath. That's when a physician takes an oath to prescribe treatment according to his abilities and judgment. And he also takes an oath not to cause harm or injury to the patient. Of course, you must be a medical doctor to be associated with this terminology. Welcome. It's Weekend Deal, Medical Quackery. How far? Why? Who? My name is Thelma Obaze. Patience.
Oh, yes. I'm fine. You said it all. Yesterday was indeed explosive. From knowing who an auxiliary nurse is to knowing the extent and types of quackery.
Sure. It's yoga, right?
It's yoga. It's time for us to stretch.
Okay. Perhaps the veterans can do more of this.
Yes.
Yoga.
Raise your knee, walk towards your trunk. Namaste. Hello to everyone. I am Diptiranjan Mohanty, a trained yoga teacher from High Commission of India, Abuja. She is Tinasi. Now we perform Setubandha Asana. Setubandha means bridge. So the posture name is Setubandha Asana or bridge pose. Before that, we should know the contraindication. Those who are suffering from peptic ulcer, heart disease, hernia, sciatica, high blood pressure, vertigo, they should avoid this posture. In case of pregnancy, women should avoid this posture. Now, outstretch your both legs, both feet together. Bring your both hands behind your back, 30 centimeter distance from your buttock. Finger pointing towards your back. Both hands should be straight, slightly lean back. Now breathe in, raise your buttock up, raise your trunk up, bend your neck back. Touch your both feet on the floor. Breathe out slowly, buttock down, trunk down. Breathe in, raise your buttock up, trunk up, straight your body. Hang your neck back. Make a bridge shape through your body. Maintain this posture as much as you comfortable. Now, we'll do the variation. Turn your palms, finger pointing towards your body. Now, fold your both leg, both feet, separate your both feet up to shoulder width apart. Now breathe in, raise your trunk up, straight your body. Your trunk should be parallel to the floor. Hang your neck behind your back. Breathe out slowly down your buttock. This is one round. We should do this 5 times for general health. This asana strengthens the leg. It is beneficial to the nervous, digestive, respiratory, cardiovascular and glandular systems and helps to relieve various gynecological disorders. It generally strengthens the shoulders, thighs and the wrists and also tones the lumbar region of the spine. Thanks for joining this yoga session. See you next time. Namaste. Raise your knee, walk towards your trunk.
Thank you so much, Yoga Studio. It is time for a break, but don't go anywhere because the conversation will start.
The wicked audacity of manufacturers of counterfeit drugs caused Dr. Abubakar Jimoh yesterday, a former director with NAFDAC, to say that they are murderers. Nothing short of that. And we got to see with the background feature yesterday, Sarah Simon, who has become deaf as a result of bad drugs, bad diagnosis, and all of that. Today, let's see where Oju is taking us. As our background feature, we set the tone again for our conversation.
Son, why are you pacing up and down and looking so unhappy and gloomy? Come on. What's the problem? You're pacing up and down so badly.
You know Bello?
Yes. What happened to Bello?
He's dead.
No.
I mean, like, well, he went to the hospital. He was due for his second dose of hepatitis vaccine. And wouldn't you know it, they gave him the wrong one.
What?
And now he's gone.
Oh my God. Medical practice and application vary around the globe and among peoples. Most popular approach seen in Nigeria is the orthodox medical practice, which sees patients approaching well-trained healthcare personnel for consultation and help. We Can Deal on NTA today deals with unmasking quackery in Nigeria's healthcare system and the best way stakeholders can go about it.
People tend to take the responsibility of the nurses as if it's something they can't, not knowing that there are modalities, there are training at which a qualified nurse must pass through before you are certified to practice as a nurse. There are many ways at which we can unmask this program of quackery in this country. Actually, you can't pass through a training institution without a license to practice. So it is a priority or it's a yardstick at which we use anytime we go out to check on facilities. If it happens you catch one or you get one that you know is not a trained nurse, there was an issue, somebody was employed. This person didn't pass through nursing training. Only for us to discover she was in an IDP camp in one of the states because she was there looking after the sick ones that are there that time. She now feels that somebody there gave her a certificate to practice and she used it and got a job. But the Nursing and Midwifery Council now have it in their brochure now. Attach us to most of these police officers. Give us numbers of some policemen that if you are in a facility and you discover you have somebody like this, please call these numbers. And actually it has been helping us.
A victim of medical quackery recounts the experience.
I remember when I was between 8 and 10 years old. That time my parents were living in Borno State. Our time was spent between Borno State and home in Benue. During one of the stay with them in Borno State, I became very, very sick. Up to this day, I remember the injection that I was given. It was very, very, very painful injection. I was bleeding. I cried throughout for 2 days. Somehow, I started to become better. And then the holiday was over. My mother now carried me back home. Shortly after that, I became sick again. By the time I recovered, I don't even know what happened. After my mother came back home to visit briefly, I saw her. She was standing there. I saw her looking at me with a peculiar expression. She was saying, Genevieve, I have been calling you since. That I was not responding. That she has been calling my name. I was not responding to her. I I saw fear on her face. That was when it was discovered that I had lost my hearing. After a series of tests and audiological evaluation, he now told us that an injection damaged my hearing, and the damage is in the inner ear. He told us that there is no treatment for it.
This is We Can Deal, unmasking quackery in the healthcare system in Nigeria is focus.
That is really sad. I mean, watching that just breaks my heart. I mean, she was hearing until she sought help, and then all of a sudden they treated her and she lost her hearing. And I asked the question yesterday, I said, what happens to the victim legally? When things like this happen, you just go home and bear the brunt, bear the loss on your own. That's just so sad. Okay, we'll move over to NTA Ibadan as they take another critical look at the Nigerian health care system.
Maintaining a healthy lifestyle should be of importance to everyone. When we take good care of our health, we feel better, more relaxed, and better able to cope with challenges of life. Having access to good health care is conventionally regarded as an important determinant in promoting the general physical, mental, and social well-being of people. In Nigeria, people have adopted two major ways of looking after their health, which could be through orthodox medicine or the conventional traditional medicine. Traditional medicine, also known as indigenous medicine, includes medical aspects of traditional knowledge that developed over generations within the beliefs of various societies, predating the era of modern medicine. This system of healthcare is said to play an important role in the health sector.
Well, traditional medicine is what we made locally, what we use our roots, herbs, and natural resources, parts of animals to make. And after that, the role is to treat, to cure, and to maintain our health.
Before the advent of the orthodox medicine, we have been taking care of ourselves, like I said. When anything happens, they just consult. We have people that are endowed, talented, given, handed over to. The secret have been handed over to them. They know that when you use this one for this one, it will give you this one. That's how it goes. Traditional medicine is part of what even the orthodox medicine are now researching into. Because it's pure herbs, it's pure nature. It's an alternative to orthodox medicine to solve some issues, even to my own hand.
It has been argued that the integration of traditional medicine and modern healthcare is a technological breakthrough in modern medicine, but one wonders if both work hand in hand with each other.
You can work hand in hand if no wrong policy is played into it. They have wrong policy that being played into it. They are trying to play down the traditional medicine. They are still making research on it. Orthodox medicine yet to find solution to stroke, diabetes, and other issues like that. The traditional medicine have it. Both traditional medicine and the orthodox medicine, they can wonder if they did not even play it rough.
Our experiences, both theirs and ours together, we are going to achieve a lot. There are some diseases that are termed incurable now. But if we work together, we are going to put an end to all those ailments.
Many Nigerians believe in traditional and herbal treatments, as evident in people taking local concoctions for treatment of some health challenges. Some have, however, argued that most of these concoctions do not have dosage.
I'm 40 plus now. I've never taken a medicine, how do you call it, drugs. I've never taken it because I use herbs. And then I'm very okay, I'm fit. Even my children, the people are talking, hey, go and buy this drug. No. You have some herbs that you can take. Little things, just 2 or 3 herbs. You mix it together, take it.
We have dosage. We give dosage to people. And our medicine now is in capsule form, powder form, and in liquid form. So we give them.
How can they be regulated, and how best can traditional medicine be used to combat quack medical practice?
You need confidence from the government. If they remove the bottlenecks, that's when they can, even those quacks one, they can easily just fall into trap. Though we have quacks that practice it because of economic situation, they just had one or two things that give to people. They need enlightenment, encouragement from the government.
Whatever your beliefs are, people are enjoined to take things in moderation and understand that living healthy should be a priority to all.
We just saw that package from Ibadan, which focused on the role of traditional medicine in the healthcare system and its delivery. We'll talk about that, the role they are playing. But let's introduce one of our guests, Dr. Juliet Essien. She's the clinical president, Active World Health Foundation, Federal Capital Territory, Abuja. Dr. Juliet Essien, great to have you on Weekend Deal today. We know you are bringing expert knowledge to our conversation about unmasking quackery in the medical system.
Thank you very much for this interview.
It's my singular honor and delight to welcome back Dr. Ejike Oji. See, he's there. Okay, doctor. Yesterday you were giving us a whole lot of life experiences, and I know we didn't exhaust anywhere near what you were going to tell us today. I mean, imagine that story of women dying just because. There's another angle to it. It's not about being a quack, but the handling of the drugs. Mm-hmm. Yes, a drug might be not a fake drug, but if you don't handle it properly, you have problems. So let's start from there and talk more about unmasking quackery in the Nigerian health system.
Yes, that story yesterday, in fact, gave rise to the introduction of misoprostol for post-abortion care and then also postpartum hemorrhage. You know, postpartum hemorrhage is #1 killer of women in pregnancy and delivery. And then abortion complications is the second, or wherever you might be, or it could be the third next killer. And then, like I said, I had gone into a healthcare facility, which I do anytime I go into a rural area. I must go into one healthcare facility to know what's going on around there. And then I asked the young midwife there, apart from all the things we've discussed, any other problem? He said, yes, we're now seeing women dying from postpartum hemorrhage. And I said, in a facility like this, what's going on? Don't you have uterotonics? That is an injection you give to a woman after she would have delivered to make sure the uterus clamps. She said, yes, that they didn't have. I said, then why? What do you give to the women? So they asked the women to go across the, just outside the hospital, the string of pharmacies, and then they can buy the drug there. So the husbands go there, buy and bring. And then I said, okay. I went to the pharmacy to see what's going on. Lo and behold, when I asked the young man, please, can you sell me one of the drugs? He went to the shelf and brought the drug and gave to me. I said, why is it not in the fridge? He collected it from me and put it in the fridge and told me to wait. I waited for about 30 minutes and then went back to him. I said, is it cold now? He said, yes. He brought it. I said, touch it. I touched it. It's cold. Give me a receipt. He gave me a receipt. I paid him. I was speechless. What this means is that he does not even understand the drug he is selling. that drug is supposed to have what we call a cold chain from the manufacturer to the patient. So by sitting in the shelf, that drug has denatured. It's no more a drug, it's just ordinary sterile water. And that was why those women were dying. And that was why I decided to work with the Society of Gynecologists of Nigeria and the Federal Ministry of Health to introduce misoprostol as an alternative to the injectable, because misoprostol can stay at the shelf for about 7 years without denaturing.
Okay.
And then a woman can administer it, even if it's at home, or anybody can, either through the vagina or through the mouth, or even through the anus. So it's 3 ways you can introduce the drugs. Yes. And that's what has actually helped in reducing maternal mortality in the country.
Interesting.
Yes. So you can see, that's why I always tell Nigerians, we'll have a lot of challenges. But if you look critically at any challenge you meet, and you say to yourself, this challenge, how can I look at the opportunity in it? And then what am I going to do thereafter? And I can tell you, I've done countless of things in this country. Another example is the midwifery service scheme. The midwifery service scheme came out of the fact that I was working in Kano when I was a country director of IPAS. We found out that women were dying almost 1 every 3 days at the Murtala Mohammed Hospital. There were about 100 patients on the floor when I came. When I checked out what was the problem, they all had abortion complications. Now, there was only one doctor who was taking these women into the theater to evacuate their uteri. There were about 12 nurses. None of them had the skills and ability to evacuate the uterus of the woman because it's not done by their training. So that's how I went to the commissioner, and I said to him, Dr. Mansour Kabiras, at that time under Kwakwanso's government, and I said to him, can you give me a local edict? Because in the country now, midwives are not allowed by practice to evacuate the uterus. So I now to make a local edict to protect us as an organization and also protect the...
Let's bring Dr. Juliet Asan into this conversation. Did you hear what Dr. Oji was talking about?
Yes, in the practice in our field is very challenging. Some women prefer a male doctor to work on them. They have choices. When you go to maternal health care, you find some women prefer a female to work on her.
Is that a cultural practice or belief?
It's just some kind of personal choices, and they feel, why should a man look at me? You know, so that kind of is stigmatizing. That when a man looks into you, what is beside a husband. It's only her husband who is supposed to, you know, look through her body. So they choose somebody to work on her. And sometimes you find the person that she has made a choice is not the right person who could have actually helped her.
As in doesn't have the requisite skills.
She might not have the required skills. While in the villages, as it is, those health facilities are not up to date. And because of the level of poverty in this country, I have moved around the villages when I'm doing my outreaches and interacted with several women that they rather prefer to deliver their children at home. And we've been encouraging them to go to health facility, try to go for maternal health care, always check before at least the first trimester. And we encourage them so that they try to reduce the risk early enough, and
fatality.
They know that really this is the hospital or this is the health center I'm supposed to go to. And by that time, if they go early enough, they will be acquainted with the kind of personnel that they will meet in that health center. And they make a proper... Yes, it is. It is.
Does it change?
Yes, it is.
The producer says we should take another feature, but I'm sure when we come back, we'll continue the conversation because the direction is going towards is quite engaging and interesting. Still talking about unmasking medical quackery in our country. Dayo put something together. Of course, it's about the Nigerian healthcare system. Dayo, what did your research first up?
The healthcare system in Nigeria is mainly driven by public sector, Most of the health facilities are owned by the three tiers of government: federal, state and local.
When you regulate a system, it means there's a body, it means there's a standard, it means there's a standard of operation, and it means you can't just get into the system. One of the things that regulation can do is that it is, it will be open, it will be well known, education of on rights to healthcare, and also for people to become professionals in this line.
Many health workers manning the government facilities, especially at the tertiary level, are highly knowledgeable, but with low morale caused by low payment or remuneration, lack of modern medical facilities, poor funding for research and development. Due to the prevalence of low morale in the Nigerian health sector, many doctors and nurses have found alternative jobs outside the country, with better pay and good medical facilities to work with.
The biggest challenge is the brain drain, the Japa syndrome. After you have put in so much years of study, after you've put in so much years of professionalism, and you just have to be taken away from the system, it's going to leave a very deep hole. And remember, we're talking about healthcare. Remember, we're talking about life. So an ordinary person can't just step in. In Nigeria, we are very traditional. And sometimes we make do with what we have, improvising. And then the quack steps in. I'm telling you, Dayo, if I go to my village now and I put on a lab coat and I put 3 biros here, and then maybe I just appear and call myself a doctor, they're not going to doubt me, because the people really need healthcare, because healthcare is really unaffordable. And then the proximity of accessing healthcare is a challenge.
The brain drain is heavily reducing the needed population of qualified health workers in Nigeria, thereby giving room for quackery. One of the ways to resolve the problem of quackery is for government at all levels to improve funding to health workers and can make them earn competitive pays and have improved health facilities. Proper awareness and orientation should also be given to access healthcare so that they will not patronize quacks.
Number one is awareness raising. It is human beings we are talking about, and it is human beings that do the work. What information do the people have concerning quackery? Yes. There was a time we talked about COVID-19, we talked about the pandemic. We were asked to wear nose masks, social distancing. There were things we were told to do. So how many people, what is the orientation the people are having concerning quackery? Do they have that knowledge? So the people need to be informed. The people have a right to health. They have a right to health care. So how do they assess this health care? So when the people have the education and they know that health care is their right, and they understand the dangers in patronizing the quacks, they will have a change of mind.
Also, if anyone is found to be a fake health practitioner or acting unprofessional, he or she should be made to face the full wrath of the law.
Thank you very much, Dayo. Well, although one of our guests here is contesting something, but let's hold it until we come back to him. The role of regulation and oversight function in the Nigerian healthcare system can never be overemphasized. It is very, very important. Let's allow NTA Judge lead this conversation.
Regulatory bodies are established by government for monitoring and regulating various professionals and organizations, and the medical profession is not an exception.
Medical and Dental Council is a body statutorily mandated to regulate all medical activities, plus dental activities, and even alternative medicine in Nigeria. In Plateau State, the Medical and Dental Council work closely with the Ministry of Health, the Nigerian Medical Association, other professional bodies.
For effective medical laboratory practice, the Medical Laboratory Science Council hold the acts there, and they are, by the Act 2003, they are the regulatory body with this responsibility. They also regulate us, that is the training institutions, by setting the standard, developing the curriculum to be used in each of the programs.
There are other laws that can deal with issues of quackery, like the Penal Code, the Penal Code of Northern Nigeria. It's another law that deals specific with quackery or criminal acts. The State House of Assembly is empowered, by Section 251 of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria to promulgate laws to protect the citizens.
As part of the law, the regulatory bodies set out to periodically go on inspection and audits of healthcare facilities to ensure compliance with standards and regulations.
One, you must have full registration with Medical and Dental Council of Nigeria. Then you must produce the current annual license.
We have not adhered strictly to those rules and regulations. Partly because, in fact, majorly because of funding. In the last 10 years, those fundings have not been released to the ministry. And because of that, they have not been monitoring the way it should.
Medical Laboratory Science Council of Nigeria to determine the level of training attained by these three categories. That is the medical laboratory assistant, the medical laboratory technician, as well as the medical laboratory scientist. So quackery comes in when there is an impersonation.
The law also offers protection to patients from fraudulent or deceptive medical practices.
There are penalties. Either the person will be deregistered from the Medical and Dental Council register that is a practitioner. That means he can no longer practice. Or he can be suspended for 6 months depending on the gravity.
Based on the submission of the National Assembly, they have proposed 5 years jail term for a mild offender or 10 years jail term for a serious offender. They propose 5 million, while for a big offender, 10 million.
It is essential to note that the specifics of these laws and regulations can vary within regions. However, professionals highlighted that the effectiveness of these measures also depend on their enforcement and the resources available to regulatory authorities.
We spent some time with Dayo. We saw her research. We've been to Jos now with a special focus on regulations and oversight functions. And we're talking here about this oversight thing. And some may say there are some gaps, Dr. Oji. Are there gaps? Some say our regulatory bodies have left gaps in many areas, such that quackery of all kinds are filtering through.
Yes, you remember we mentioned this a little bit yesterday. The first thing I try to do, if you look at Nigeria, we're so toxic with each other. We blame, castigate. Nobody wants to do a proper, thorough interrogation. And then I'm on the part of interrogate what is being done properly and know where the problem is. Then you can say, can we improve on this? Can we improve on that? When it comes to issues of regulation, I bring it back to the issue of population.
Okay.
I think I mentioned it yesterday. The regulatory bodies are overwhelmed. Let's start from there. If you're overwhelmed, you cannot be effective. That means there are few people doing, let me just give in a simplistic way, a job that was supposed to be done by 1,000 people, only 10 people are doing it. How would you be effective?
But doctor, I'm not cutting you.
You see?
Let's employ. Why are we not employing? Because there are people out there seeking these jobs.
Employing, yes. Where are the resources to pay them?
Okay.
So these are some of the, what I can say is that we can improve the strategic way we do things.
Okay.
AI, Internet of Things have disrupted the world. we can use technology to improve monitoring, regulatory issues.
Oh, nice.
You get the point?
Yes, sir.
And let me give you a simple example. In Abuja, at some point, I was the chairman of the medical Guild of Medical Directors here in Abuja.
Mhm.
And then by that, the FCT at that time brought me into the monitoring team. There's FEMC. FEMC is the regulatory body that regulates all the medical practitioners in Abuja.
Okay.
And I used to go around with them to see. And I see where their own deficiencies come. Occasionally, they don't have enough vehicles to move around. This was years ago. Occasionally, they don't have enough personnel to move around. And then me bring a program person, and I sat with them one day. I said, okay, why don't we just make a program and see how we can run with the program? In other words, when you're doing a program or a project, you have to look at the man, the material, and everything that you're going to see whether they're even enough. By the time we looked at the number of facilities in Abuja and the team they had at that time, I told them there's no way you can monitor even 10% of the hospitals in Abuja.
Okay. Let's let Dr. Essien lend your voice to this conversation. Regulations, regulatory bodies, and oversight, ingenious attempts have been brought to the table, and some success stories have been recorded. But where are we now?
Well, this country has a lot of intelligent doctors.
Yeah.
And I should say that Nigeria is the best in the world. We have the best doctors, we have the best nurses, the best brains. But we have come to a shortage that those who have the best have fled the country, leaving a very big gap. Now, the people who are more qualified that should have actually filled this are not in the country because of greener pastures. And you find those who have decided to stay back, they're overwhelmed. There's that brain drain that someone cannot do. Like you go to Kwali, I've been to Kwali, I've been to Gugugu at the primary health care. You find the facility is wanting. And really, if you look at the people who are on the ground, like my brother is talking, he may be one of a kind that has devoted himself to sit in this country. Who is he to stay here? Because of the passion and love for his country. So if we can have more of people who can devote themselves to stay in this country, we can make it better. Because we have the resources. It's only that it's not well channeled. The kind of facility in this country, the wealth which we have here, the leadership should help us in the medical field to really come in full swing, because health is wealth. It's the primary thing that anybody could wake up one morning and find when you're unhealthy, you cannot go to that president's office. You cannot move. So healthcare is a thing that is for everybody to think about.
Indeed, Dr. Essien. I mean, health continues to be wealth. Health indeed is wealth. And that's why it's so surprising that when people are sick, you see them going to all sorts of places. I remember when I was opening, I said that we as citizens must seek healthcare at the right places. We must know where we go, no matter how the situation is. Why do quacks ever get patients? NTA Channel 10 will tell us more.
According to a popular saying, health is wealth. Health is the most valuable possession an individual can have. Staying healthy is priceless. When one is sick, being treated by a quack medical practitioner usually jeopardizes the treatment process and leaves the sick worse. Quacks in the medical profession is a decay in the system that has led to the loss of many lives.
Quacks can be defined as dishonest people. They are not doctors, they are not nurses, and they claim to be doctors and nurses, which does not supposed to be.
Quackery in Nigeria's healthcare system continues to rise at an alarming rate, especially considering the harsh economy that has affected all sectors of the nation. Medical experts have identified some reasons responsible for quackery in the profession to include uninformed patients, cultural beliefs, brain drain, expensive and ungoverned healthcare.
Quacks are able to deceive their patients because of desperation. When the patients are very desperate to get treatment, so they will be able to lure them to themselves. Poverty. Some people don't have money to go to hospital, so they tend to patronize quacks.
The constant need for adequate healthcare delivery in a country with over 223 million people and few number of medical practitioners, which results to a poor doctor-to-patient ratio. This makes people vulnerable to quacks in the health system. In some cases, patients have received injections from nurses that cause harm or even paralysis.
There was once a case of a child that was brought to our facility from another facility. She was in point infection. He was having injection abscess. The quack refused to use aseptic techniques in giving the injection, and it became quite a big problem. There was a deep hole about 2 inches at the left lateral part of the buttock. Please note, a quack nurse will be the one lobbying for work, will be the one coming to your house, will be the one bringing out injections to give to you.
A quack is without credentials. They don't have certificates. They are not trained. They didn't go to nursing school or medical school. A quack will always refute what the doctor, the diagnostics, and the treatment doctor have given to you. A quack always have medicine that cures all, wonder medicine, magical drugs. Now, for you to be able to dictate a quack hospital, for example, in Lagos here, the hospital must have her FEMA logo outside. Any hospital you see without her FEMA logo is not accredited hospital.
The consequences of quackery in the healthcare are devastating. However, to contain the spread, there are measures advised by medical professionals.
To reduce the quacks, there should be strict regulation from the government. Like in Lagos State, they are doing very well. The FEMAs are doing very well. They are monitoring units. They are doing a very good job. They go to hospitals. They check people's licenses. And government to put into law punishment to be given to quacks. To quack doctors and nurses, there must be a punishment that will be given to them.
A healthy population is one of the nation's most valuable assets. Therefore, it is pertinent that strict regulation, enforcement of healthcare standards, public awareness campaigns are to be adhered to, as all this will help rebuild trust, improve patient outcome, and provide high-quality care to the people.
Interesting. Earlier, when Patience was going to Channel 10, she said she wonders what will make people look in that direction. Research shows that poverty is one big incident that makes people look in directions perhaps they wouldn't have considered if they had adequate resources, and perhaps that's where insurance and other things will come up. But let's look at what Magdalene's been doing this past week. She's been talking about alternative medicine. Some say there's no scientific base, but Magdalene, you share. What did you find? In order to achieve optimal well-being as an individual, experts believe that over the years, Western medicine has significantly played a role in the human body as compared to the alternative medicine therapies such as acupuncture, Ayurveda, homeopathy, herbs, and Chinese medicine, amongst many others. And all this being without the knowledge and skill of trained medical practitioners.
People will buy this agbo past chemistry.
This alternative medicine, popularly known as agbo, it helps for pile, to treat the body. It helps in cleaning the body system.
According to statistics, alternative healthcare services have become increasingly popular globally. line with this trend, the World Health Organization, WHO, has consistently advocated that for alternative medicines to be accessible to the users, they must meet certain standards that include quality, safety, and efficacy for the user to really benefit. In order to avoid quackery in the health system, one must be very cautious, as some health experiences may worsen the health of an individual rather than improve it. Experts also advise that one must seek the opinion of a trained medical practitioner before embarking on any cell therapy.
The alternative medical system, unfortunately, does not have a structured, well-documented historical recordings of all their methods in such a way that independent people can verify it. They also do not have a proper documentation of the patients who have been treated and how they responded to the treatment. This is in contrast to what you have in the Western medical system, where for every medication that is put out there, the medication must pass through several what you call phase trials, phase 1 trial, phase 2 trial, phase 3 trial, and then the phase 4 trial, which is a post-marketing trial. So for every drug molecule that you have, even for hypertension, for diabetes, or all of those health conditions, these medications have gone through several stages, typically 5 stages.
Remember, he who has general wellness has a lot. On this note, be very wise with regard to your health, because your health is in your hand.
Welcome back. Talking of alternative medicine, Dr. Essien. Let me hear your take on this. I know what Dr. Ejike, what he thinks. Let's leave him alone. Let's leave Dr. Ejike alone. It's almost a radical. Let me hear from you.
Well, thank you very much. I don't see anything wrong with traditional medicine, because if you look at the orthodox practice, all these drugs comes from either the roots or the leaves. It all depends on how it has been modified. Here in this country, there's a lot of herbal medicine that comes from China, and we rush for it as supplements, and it works. So for me, as I look at it, I think we need to co-op the traditional healers and train them, because some of these herbal medicine, they're toxic, depending on the dosages they give. So once they are trained, as medical practitioners, we need to bring them in at the point where our students are also doing their housemanship. They show them and regulate. Because I believe, as I was growing up, I need to give an example. When we have diarrhea, my mom used to get the back of the mango, and she would crush it up, give us a certain quantity, and that diarrhea is gone. So it all depends on how we really look at these traditional healers. Because at the end of the day, we all come together, because in the past, our mothers used to give birth in the villages, and the placenta would come out, and nothing is wrong with the mother. So I don't see anything wrong with our traditional way, as long as they are well trained. The traditional birth attendants, they'll show them what to do as medics. We need to work with them, because they are the very same people in the villages that they are contacted first. By the time a patient comes to a hospital, at least 30% has been done by
someone
trained,
in their neighborhood.
Yes, in the villages.
Yeah. We will finish this conversation.
Anyway, I'll give the
because a break beckons right now, and that's where we'll go. When we come back, here all, we'll get to know the details.
Okay, let's go straight to NTA Medigree, where their short video, their contribution is on the fight against quack medical practices.
Health is said to be wealth. When our health is threatened, we often seek for cure or treatment. The problem is what happens when we end up in the hands of unprofessionals or those who lack the competency to discharge standard medical services. These untrained, unethical, and unlicensed medical practitioners infiltrate both public and private hospitals through fraudulent means, seamlessly blending in with their unsuspecting colleagues. Quack doctors are assumed the duties of trained doctors, offering a wide range of medical services to their unsuspecting victims. The victims seeking solace and healings unknowingly place their lives in the hands of these imposters. But they don't know that very individual they trust to safeguard their lives are the ones leading them toward early graves and permanent disabilities. Authorities and experts in the fields need to raise awareness to the general public not to patronize them and strive for a healthcare system that upholds the highest standard of professionalism and integrity.
In Borno State, we have had issues with quacks in the medical profession. Government and the associations of medical practitioners have been doing a lot to get rid of this menace in the general fabric of the medical profession. It's worrisome because it erodes the confidence of the general public in the profession. This is because the unsuspecting general public will not know who a doctor is. And that is why the people are advised to go to the appropriate places to seek medical advice.
Their services are sometimes cheaper when compared to the service of those true breed professionals. As such, it encourages the general public, but full of wrong diagnoses and prescriptions.
Nigerian Medical Association, being the umbrella body of all doctors practicing in Borno State, we have a committee that are fighting against quackery. Currently, the committee are on ground, and if we have any issue of quackery or quack, they relate to us, and then we do the needful. The general public should know that it's not everywhere you get treatment that you deserve, because many a times you go to a pharmacy, a patent medicine store, or you just meet a roadside person, and then you will lay your complaints, the person you're looking for. So all he is after is to see what he can get out of your pocket. I am calling on the general populace to please, despite the protocol that is existing in the hospitals, they should please find time out of their busy schedules, because health is wealth. And again, the state government are doing very well by ensuring that they have provided primary healthcare centers in virtually every ward.
The consequences of falling into the hands of quack doctors are so dear. Lives are needlessly lost, families are left shattered, and future are forever altered. In the face of this deadly deception, it is our collective responsibility to ensure that quack doctors are banished forever and that the sanctity of human life is restored.
You know that very, very interesting discourse behind the scenes, and we're doing our best to bring it all to the fore. Where are your communications? We're not hearing from you. What are your experiences? Please feel free to share. Patience is standing by to share them with us. The fight against medical quackery is continuous and unrelenting. Hence this talk. And you're going to continue even after we finish our discourse. Dr. Essien, you were talking about placenta with our grandmothers, talking about how herbalism, perhaps, and alternative medicine has been working for those that even came before us. Are you saying it's still working for us even now? Because sophistication and modernity has made us lean towards Dr. Odia and his ill, and you too. But tell us more.
Well, thank you so much. Our experience in the past cannot compare today because of the social media. You find people click so much into social media instructions. You find someone is advertising a bottle saying this medicine cures 10 ailments. This can give you energy energy drink, for a man, for the potency, all those sorts of things is on social media. So this really leaves our original herbalists who are in the villages who do not have access to the social media really at the backyard. But if we had actually, as medical practitioners, gotten down to these herbalists in the villages, they would do much, much better. That is if they have been brought to board and they are trained on how to administer treatment.
So, Dr. G, you've heard her. I mean, let's start from what happened to Cure All. I want to hear that story. I love stories. So let's start. What happened to Cure All and how can we integrate? Seriously, how can we integrate? We're saying something while we're on break. How can we integrate? But don't forget what happened to the Cure All story.
Okay, do you want me to complete the Cure All first?
Quickly,
okay.
Let us know what happened.
No, what happened was eventually that there was an Indian man in Ibadan who was distributing these drugs across the country and said that drug Cure All cures every illness, from HIV to malaria to hypertension to whatever, and people were just ignorantly collecting these drugs, paying so much and dying. Because that my uncle eventually died from hypertensive crisis.
No way.
Anyway, so that's why I'm very touchy when it comes to things that are not standardized and being used in medicine. And then, so we're talking about patent medicine and pharmacies. Now, the regulators of pharmacies, when you say pharmacy, pharmacy means there is a pharmacist that was trained that supervises the compoundation and marketing and filling of prescriptions in that facility, which is a pharmacist. And that pharmacy place is called a pharmacy. Then a patent medicine store is not a pharmacist.
So anybody can actually operate a patent medicine store?
Anybody. But now there was some level of regulation. The Pharmacy Council...
We need to go on a break. We need to go on a break. When we come back, yes, we'll wrap up that conversation and have some relaxing moments. But for now, our last break beckons. Let's take it. Your final words, Dr. Esiam.
Well,
brief.
I look at this country that we can make it. And there's no doubt about it. In my inner soul and belief, with the kind of personality in this country, from the leadership of Ministry of Health to the grassroots level, once we join hands together, we improve on our primary health care, who will touch the village people. I believe that the sky is the limit. There's no doubt about it, because this is a country where people work. There's nobody who is lazy in this country.
Indeed.
Very hardworking personality, very intelligent people. We only lack proper leadership and guidance. Once they're properly guided, we are the best.
Okay, Dr. G.
Yes, I can't agree with her more. When I look at Nigeria, some people say, GK, you refuse to leave this country. I say, yeah, this is the best place.
This is the way we are going to be closing the show.
So like she said, let's look for the best of us.